Okay, here we have the 2021 Salem Cruise Light 263 BHXL. We'll start up front. Front you have your tongue jack right here. You have up and down. You have a light, so if it's dark and you're hooking up, you can see. You got your chains, your 7-way for your lights and your brakes. And then you have a breakaway cable right here. And this has a little carabiner on it. You'll hook that next to your chains. You won't hook it on your chains because if for some reason the trailer came off the ball and the chains failed, that breakaway will pull out. There's a little pin down under somewhere under here. Let's see. It's on the inside of the frame. Let's see. Yeah, so right there, that little box, that pin comes out, and that just locks up the brakes so it's not going behind you. Got a little snow this morning. Alright, so here you have your propane tanks. You have two 20-pounders. This cover right here, these knobs untwist. Then that flips up. Then you have access to your tanks up here to turn them on and off. That way you don't have to take the cover off every time to turn them on and off. Then your cover slides up to get it filled. So you can take your tanks off to go get them filled. Your regulators right there. This one, all you have to do is turn on your tank, and it will automatically start going through. You can have them both on at the same time. It'll only draw from one at a time. Once one goes empty, it'll automatically switch over and start drawing from the other one. This one does not have a switch to choose what one is drawing off of, so it's best if you always just use one. Don't have them both open, just have one open. That way you can tell which one's empty, what one's full. Right. Then the cover just slides back on. Then you have your battery right here. And there's a battery disconnect right there. So if you're parked for a week or so and you're not using it during the summer, you can take that little key off. It just twists off and pulls out. That way your battery's not having any draw off of it and it stays charged. Then you have your front compartment up here for storage. And there's magnets on the door to hold it open. A nice big pass-through storage. And you have a crank right there. That is for your front tongue jack. So if it blows a fuse, you don't have an extra one, or if you just can't get power to it and your battery's dead, then you can crank it up and down with that. There's a hose there. That is for the spray port on the other side. I'll show you that in a little bit. Alright. Then you got your slide room. Then in the back, right here, this cover just pops off. Your power cord's right here. It just pulls out, and then to store it, it just shoves back in there. And that snaps closed. And there is a little slide right here, so you can keep that closed with your power cord out. That way no bugs or water gets inside there. This is a 30 amp unit, and then it's explained right here. So when you go to a campground, ask for the 30 amp hookup. When you're at home, you can plug into an adapter to keep it plugged in, keep your battery charged, keep your fridge cold. The only thing you can't run when you're plugged into that adapter at home is the air conditioner, because that requires a 30 amp plug. If you try using it at home plugged into an adapter, it will burn up your cord. So just be careful of that. Then you have your outside shower. That's just hot and cold water, rinse things off outside. Then your water heater's right here. It's gas only, and the switch is inside for it to turn on and off, and that light's on its own, so you don't have to light it up. Then you have your sewer outlet here. So the big one in the middle, that is your black tank valve. So that is your toilet water. And then the two up front on the sides is your gray tanks. So the one on the left, that'll be for your kitchen sink. And then the one on the right is for your bathroom. So your sink and shower in the bathroom. Usually you'll pull the black tank first. Once that's drained out, close it. Then you can pull the gray tanks. And that'll just flush out your sewer hose for you, so it's not leaving a mess in it. Alright, moving around. You have cable and satellite hookup here. Right there. Then you have your city water connection right here. So you'll hook your hose up to here. And that just gives you direct water to your faucets in your toilet. Then this on the bottom is your black tank flush. So when you're draining your black tank, you can hook your hose up to there. And there's a little spray port in the tank, and it'll flush it out for you. When you're doing that, make sure the valve is open, because if you get carried away and start talking to a neighbor or whatever, and if that valve is closed, the only place for the water to go is through the vent pipe through the roof, and that'll leave a mess. So just, if you're gonna do that, stay at the camper, watch it. And if you know you're gonna be right there, you can close that valve for a couple seconds to let the water fill up a little bit. Then just pull it and it will flush it out for you. Alright, moving to the other side. You have stabilizer jacks. There's one in the front, one in the back, and they're electric, and this is a switch for the rear stabilizer jacks. So you have extending the track. When you're using these, you can put blocks underneath the pads. That way you don't have to go down as far. But once each pad touches the ground or the blocks, hold it for another second, or you'll see the camper kind of pick up a little bit. That's when you let off the switch. You don't want to raise it up and try and lift the camper with it. It's only made for stabilizing. So get the camper leveled first. Put blocks on their tires for side to side. Then use the front tongue jack for front and back leveling. Then once it's leveled, then you'll put these down. Just a little pressure on them, not too much, or else they will bend. Then you have an entrance door right here. This is for the bathroom. So it's just a quick entrance to the bathroom, so you don't have to go all the way in the camper and through it. Then you got your furnace exhaust right here. That gets pretty hot. Make sure you don't put anything in front of it, because it will disrupt the airflow and it won't run properly, and also it gets hot, so it will burn what's in its way. Don't touch it while you're using it, because it does get pretty hot. Then right here, this is the spray port. This is where that hose in the front compartment will connect. And it's just like a air hose connection. You push this coupler back, put the end of the hose in there, and then you got water. Just be careful of that, because as soon as you push that hose in, it'll instantly start putting water in the hose. And to take it off, I would shut off the water to the camper, spray the hose until there's no more water coming out. Then you can disconnect it. That way you don't get sprayed doing it. Then you have cable hookups for out here. So you can have a TV out here, and that's where you will hook up your TV cable. Then you got some outlets right here. You got a vent right here. This is for your stove top. There's just a little flap inside that snaps on, and then keep it closed while you're traveling, or if you're parked for a while. Keep that closed so no bugs or water get inside. But if you are going to use this stove top vent, just come out and unclip that. Then you have your freshwater. You have your freshwater fill right here. So you have a portable water tank with this camper. You'll use that if you're going to a state park or you're dry camping, or if you're going on a long trip and you think you might stop on the way. You'll have water on board with you if you fill this. The drain for it is right here, that white little valve right there. So you pull that open and it drains it. And with it closed, it keeps it obviously closed so the water stays in. And then you'll just fill it there. Then the other thing down here, this is another quick connect. This is for the gas grill, which is behind this door. And again, there's magnets on the door to keep it open. So you have a little grill right here. It slides out on this hose. This end will go to the connection underneath, and this connection will go to the valve right here. And again, that's just like an air hose. Pull back the black coupler, and it will go onto the fitting. And then on this end, there's a dust cap. Always keep that dust cap on when you're not using it, because mud wasps like to get inside there. It's a pain to clean it out, and then it gets in your lines and can mess things up. So always keep that on when you're not using it. So you pull that back, take that out, push the coupler back, put the hose in. Once it's clicked in, there's a little valve right here. You just open that, and that locks it, so the line can't come off. And it also allows the gas to go through, and that draws right from the tanks up front. Alright, and you can keep that valve open. It'll just keep the coupler locked so the dust cap can't come off. The propane won't come out. The only way it can come out if that the hose is actually in there pushing back the little whatever it's called, the little thing inside. No gas will come out unless that is pushed, and the only way for that to be pushed is with the hose. Then you have a little fridge right here. Alright. Then moving to the front is just the other side of the storage compartment. Right here. And you have the switch for the front stabilizer jacks. And then this unit is prepped for solar charging. So that's where it plugs in. And that is pretty much, it's just like a trickle charger. It keeps your battery charged while you're dry camping, so it doesn't go dead on you. Alright, that's everything outside. Now we'll move inside. So in the main door, you have what they're called solid steps. They just fold up and in. This blue lever right here, you pull that and it unlocks it, and then your steps can fold down. On each leg, there's a little trigger right here. You press that in, and you can adjust the length of the leg. You want to adjust it so that it's sitting flush on the bottom of the door sill like that. That way, the door can open and close freely without getting caught up on anything. Alright, moving inside to the right, you have your monitor panel right here. Hold on, wipe my phone off a little bit. Okay, so you have your monitor panel right here. You got these buttons right here. If you press them, that lights up there, and that's telling you how full your tanks are and how charged your battery is. So your freshwater tank does have water in it because I just got done dewinterizing it. But your black tank is empty, and both your gray tanks are empty. That has a little bit of water in it. So the galley, that'll be, I'm pretty sure that is your bathroom gray tank. And then the gray tank is the kitchen gray tank. But you'll also be able to figure that out once you use it for a little while. If, you know, a couple of you take a shower, then you can check and get a proper reading, and then you can mark it if you'd like. Then you have a couple switches. So your light switch, that switch only turns on this light right here. All the other lights throughout, there's a little push button in the center, and that just turns it on. So you have to turn each light on individually, which is kind of a pain, but it is what it is. Then you have your lights for outside. There's lights under the awning. I believe the speakers light up too. Yep. And then you got your water heater switch here. So flip that on. This light will come on. Once that light goes out, that means it's lit. If it goes out and comes back on, that means it did not light. All you have to do, just check your tanks, make sure they're on, make sure there's gas in them. Turn the switch off, wait a couple seconds, and flip it back on. Alright, so it lit, the light went out. Then you have your water pump switch, so that you'll use that when you're using the freshwater tank. All you have to do is just flip that on, and then it'll shut off once it builds up enough pressure. And then every time you open a faucet, it'll kick back on again. And then once it gets to the proper pressure, it'll shut off. And then if you're done using it or done camping, you can turn that off. All right, then you have a couple of switches here. I don't know why they didn't label them. The factory lately, they're just, you know, with everything going on, everything's a little short-handed getting things. So, but you can always, if you have a label maker, or you can just mark it with a marker. But this switch right here on the right, that's for your slide room. If you press it down, that's going out, and you press it up, that's coming in. So that's your slide room right there. And that stops on its own when it's all the way in and out. So I'll put it back out. And there. Then you have your awning, same thing. So with this, you have up is out, and down is in. With the awning going out, it doesn't stop on its own, so you'll watch it when you're rolling it out. There'll be a valance that'll fold down, and you'll be able to see the bare tube. Once you can see that, let off the switch, because if you keep holding it, it'll roll up backwards and it might cause some damage. So just make sure you let off the switch and you're paying attention when you're rolling it out. And then on each side of the arm, there's a little pivot point, or there's a way to adjust the arm so you can put a pitch on it. So if it's sprinkling, the water can run off. But if it starts downpouring and it's really windy out, just roll up your awning. That way there's no damage that could accidentally happen. And then every time you go in for the night, just roll up your awning, because you never know what's going to happen overnight. All right, walking in a little further, you have your entertainment center right here, TV hookups, your radio, and your fireplaces right here. There's some storage on each side. On the TV hookup, there's a little button right here. If you press it, that green light will come on. That is a booster for the antenna on the roof. So that's if you're picking up local channels or whatever. But if the campground has cable hookups, or if you have a portable satellite dish, you want to make sure that's turned off, because it will interfere with the signal. There is a TV backer back here, so you can mount a TV up here. Then this switch right here next to it is just for the LED strip above the slide room. Then you have your couch and dinette here. This cushion right there, there's little posts on it and slots on each side. So that can lift up and it can come to this side, and that cushion will push over there. And you'll flip that so that way there's seating on this side for the dinette. And then obviously in this configuration you have a big L-shaped couch. And then that table, I lift up off the poles, pull the poles out, set it on the boards around, put cushions on top. And then you got a big bed right there. And that is a jackknife sofa, so that folds out too. So that way this entire thing can be a giant bed as well. And it's all explained right here. So you got the dinette seating, you got the chase lounge, how it is right now, and then you got a full bed. Actually 2 full beds pretty much. And then you have the kitchen area. So you got your sink, some storage up top and on the bottom. You got a light right there, same thing, a little push button. Your stove top right here, this folds up. You got 3 burners, and there is a sparker for each burner and the oven. So all you have to do is just turn this to high and hit the sparker until it lights. And then for the oven, you turn it to the flame, push and hold it while you're hitting the sparker. Sometimes you'll have to manually light the pilot with a grill lighter because sometimes air gets in the lines if you haven't used it for a while. And so the pilot's right there, and you can see where the sparker is. So you'll just light it right there on that side. And, then you have stovetop light and fan. Household microwave. Then your fridge right here. This little handle is just a lock for travel. Then up here, right now it's off. That's why that light's blinking. But if you press it, if you press it, it'll come on. I guess you have to press and hold it. Alright, so you press and hold it, and it comes on there. And then if you just press it once, it'll go to a different number, and that's the temperature setting. And now the new fridges that's coming in all the new units pretty much are 12 volt only. So also that battery disconnect up front, if you're not using it, make sure you do have that turned off or you are plugged in so your battery stays charged. Or make sure you turn your fridge off because it'll always be drawing off the battery. And again, you just press and hold it until that light goes out. There, and then that fridge is off. Alright, then you have a little closet space right here. Then your thermostat is right next to that. So the big button is the mode button. And then the arrows is temperature control. Then you got the nice big double bunk. There are USB ports on each one, and there is a light for each one. And then there's a privacy curtain right there. Then your bathroom. So you got your sink, your shower, and the toilet. So the toilet, the little foot lever to flush it's right here. If you press it a little bit, it'll add water. And then if you press it all the way, it'll flush everything down for you. Then you have the light switch for the bathroom. And you have a vent with a fan on it. And that black switch right there is for the fan. Then You have the medicine cabinet right here, which is a little strap right there that just locks it for traveling. There. Then the last thing is the bedroom up front. So light switch right on the right. You got your bed, some closet space on each side, and there's little cubby holes next to each side of the bed. There are outlets in there. You do have TV hookup in the bedroom. You can mount a TV on this wall if you wanted to. USB ports on each side of the bed, and then your bed also lifts up so you have access to the front storage, and then you have a little cubby spot right here with some storage bins. And the bed is held up with shocks, so you don't have to hold it up one hand trying to reach for stuff. Alright, so that is everything to do with the 2021 Salem 263 BHXL.